Yo, hey, we're here. Welcome back.
What up?
This is Jonesy.
This is Stan.
What's up, Stan, man? Glad you're back. Glad to see you, man.
You
Look,
know,
go ahead. What you gonna say?
hey, I appreciate everyone watching our second episode. Um, welcome to 2/3, the other side of man.
Yeah,
Like we said, we're gonna do this raw. It's not always gonna be in a space where uh, you know where it's
it's not
quiet
perfect.
or
It's not
it's not
perfect.
perfect.
Right, right,
But
right.
we're gonna get our content out there. We're gonna have the conversations. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some laughs. I'm in the truck waiting on my son's goalie practice to end. So this is what we
Okay.
got. I got the whole
Yeah.
lighting,
Yeah,
like, you know what I
yeah,
mean. It's
yeah.
light on
We
this side,
yeah.
dark on that side.
Hey, look. Hey, look. So this episode two is, man, it's about the guys trip, man, and every band needs a guys trip. Um, and the guys trip for us, it's how one trip to Miami, we needed a trip. It led to an annual ritual for us. A renewal of just every year it saves my life. In my opinion, it renews the brotherhood that we have between. I hate to even say it this way, but it was six of us. Unfortunately, it's down to five, but we'll get into that later. But man, how it all started, yo, I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you process that?
Man, processing it every year ever since 2010. Um, it's surreal because one trip, we talked about this in the first episode. So if you didn't catch that episode, go back, watch that episode, and then you can jump right into this one. But yeah, that first trip in 2010 to Vegas, um, yeah, it was just something we did on a whim, right? So
Right.
we didn't think nothing of it. It was just like, yo, we needed to get out, we needed to get away because of the job situation. Um, I just had my second child in 2009, so it was like, yo, I need a break. Um, but it kind of snowballed into this thing where it's something we realized we needed,
Right.
and you know, we're encouraging you as you watch this to also take that time to reset.
Yeah. Yeah. Reset, renew, and then also build on your friendships, your brotherhood. And I'll tell you, this is kind of crazy. So those original two trips, that was one thing. It's kind of crazy how that. I remember having a conversation in between 2010 and 2015. Like, hey, look, I need to do something different. You know, Coming to Vegas doesn't really. It's not. It's what I mean. I'm not looking to party. I'm looking to expand, do some things. I want to grow culturally. I want to see some things. I want to experience some things. And
Yeah,
so, looking at it from that perspective, I'll tell you, that was kind of a beginning conversation, a beginning tweak. It didn't necessarily fall on deaf ears, but it just didn't resonate. But
yeah,
I remember 2015 was rough, man. There was a couple of things that were going on in everybody's world. I remember talking to Big T, and he had some stuff going on, divorce and some heart issues.
yep.
You had some stuff going on in 2015, and we all kind of came together and we invited other people. We were like, hey, you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, we invited the original set of guys
yeah,
that came to the two original trips.
yeah, yeah,
Mind you, it evolved, right? So it evolved, and life be lifing.
yeah,
And some cats couldn't go, um, whether it was because of life, work, or whatever. But for the most part, you know, every third week of October, it's the same core people. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I say core people, uh, we always make the joke of the founding fathers, which is myself. We consider myself, Jonesy, Big T, right? And then
Yeah.
we have we have
With
we have
those,
G.
but those came, but we have to kind of go back because we're getting ahead a little bit. That original trip after the Vegas experience, us getting on the phone and collaborating, and coming up with Miami as a quick trip. I want to say more than likely Big T had just had his pacemaker put in. Like I said,
Yep,
I had some things going on.
yep,
Not to mention I was in school. Like it was
yep.
just a lot. My world was looking, kind of crazy at the time. Um, and so us making that decision, going to Miami, dude, um, packing our bags, hopping on a flight, doing that whole thing, converging on a place, North Beach, Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We didn't want this party thing. We wanted this experience of relaxation, some beach, and some brotherhood, right? Trying
yep.
to, you know, um, look at the spirit of Big T. I mean, I'll be honest with you, trying to save his life. I, I saved my own. You know what I mean? I got some renewal through you guys, some
That's
brotherhood through
facts.
you guys. You know what
That's
I'm
facts.
saying? I remember like us getting there and all that good stuff and coming to y'all room and Big T had this big white bag of meds, of just
And you were like,
meds.
"Dog, is that laundry?" He's like, "Nope." We're like, "Whoa." He picked it up. You could hear the pill shaking, and we were like,
Yo,
"Bruh,
yeah, yeah,
what is
yeah.
that?"
Right, right. But that was a bag of his stress.
Yeah, that was
And
the weight he carried, and we didn't
that
know
was the
about it.
weight. We didn't know about it. No,
We didn't know
no.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. And that became the beginning,
The
right?
beginning,
The
because I
beginning. That
remember
be
we literally had that come to Jesus meeting with him after we cracked the jokes, and
Yeah.
we ripped him for having a freaking white trash bag full of just medications.
Yeah.
Concerned, but the way we interact with each other, a little bit of hazing and joking goes a long way. But we made it uh we made it a priority
Mhm.
to make
Yeah.
sure that, one, we're doing this trip to give ourselves something to look forward to every year, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether it's 365 days of grinding, the mental fatigue, the dealing with the work piece and all that stuff. But you know, when October comes, that's our getaway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I remember, like, he was in pain and he just wanted to sleep. I remember that. Remember, he just wanted to sleep, but we got him
Yeah.
out. We
Got
got
him
him out and
out.
we jumped
Yeah.
in that. Man, Lyft was just starting, so we tried Lyft for the first time. You remember?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lift the, the,
Yeah.
the lift driver pulled up in this
Yo,
flapped out
what?
Mazda like hatchback.
It was like lowered. It was.
It was lowered. It had a loud ass exhaust. It was a 5 speed. Like, he pulled up and he was like, "Stan?" I'm like, Enrique? I think that was his name. I don't know. But
Something crazy, right?
it was something
Right.
crazy. And we're like, "We just want to go get some food." He's like, "All right, come in." And we're like, Big
Hundred
T, of
percent.
course, Big T had to sit in the front. no
Yeah.
seatbelt, car dinging, like, seatbelt warning sign. And
Right.
he's over
Yeah.
there.
Full disclosure, Big T didn't wear seatbelts. So it didn't matter what
Oh,
we
yeah.
rode
No,
in for all the
it don't
trips,
matter what
every
we order.
van we got
No,
into, every car we got into.
no,
No driver was like, "Hey man, you got to put it on." They was just
no.
like, they just
They
let it be.
understood. They
So we
understood
just,
the assignment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
They
even
understood the
that, like we're
assignment.
laughing now, but we're laughing now because we laughed then. We would look at each other and just, man, that
Yeah.
bing, you know what I mean? That
Ding.
seatbelt bing was not.
And all we could, dude, like no joke, it's literally like those videos where people have the smoke detector beep go off, the bird,
Right.
and you
And
just
everybody
gotta
acting
ignore
like
it.
they can't hear it. Right.
Exactly. Like, man, I know you hear that, but I
Right,
mean,
right, right. He wasn't gonna put it
he
on though. He
he wasn't
wasn't
gonna
gonna
put it
put it
on.
on.
He wasn't gonna put it
Right,
on.
right, right.
but
But
but see,
it's
so that
funny. Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, but and it's funny because that was the beginning of the tradition. That was the beginning of, that experience. It was nothing crazy. We weren't trying to be out partying. We weren't trying.
Nope.
It was about dinners, relaxing. I remember, uh, that little place. So funny. So Big T was huge on 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven Slurpees, living in Georgia. There is no 7-Eleven if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep.
whenever he touched down in a place, and we happened to be this hotel was right across from a 7-Eleven and this little breakfast like diner spot.
Yep. It was
Yo,
like a hole in the
and
wall. Probably 10 seats.
yeah,
Probably 10
and
seats.
so and that was the cool part. Like we didn't have to spend the whole time together. So one of us would either text or stop by and be like, "Hey, I'm about to head down to the breakfast spot." Some would go, some wouldn't. It wasn't
Yep.
like this thing that we had to do everything together. I mean, I know I spent a ton of time in the room sleeping as well, just like y'all did. But like we
Yep.
would get up, or I'd be like, "Hey, I'm headed down to 7-Eleven." Big T was like, "Hey, can you give me a Slurpee?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, we spent our days eating and sleeping. I think I
Yep.
got out to the beach a couple of times, while we were out there. So it wasn't
Yeah.
even, but we were right off the beach. So the hotel, you could walk out from the back of the hotel onto the beach. You know what I mean? I remember, I think we all did it at the same time one day. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
you know
remember
what I
we
mean?
sat out on the beach for one of the days. I think second to the last day we all just chilled on the beach. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
just to touch on what you were saying is like, yo, we don't need to do anything crazy. We don't need to party. We
Yeah.
don't need to go to the clubs.
No,
Like
no.
that's the misconception when people hear, oh, you guys are going on a boys trip. No,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
misconception is they're gonna party, they're gonna, hookers and blow or whatever, but that's
Right.
not the case. It's
No, it's
it's
never been about
it's
that.
about it's about even though we all talk every day, but it's about being present and embracing that company because you
Yeah.
know you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can you can have the conversation like we're having now, but there's a different type of energy. Just like when we did your
It's
50th
a,
and we all showed up
oh,
at your office,
it's a,
right? Like it's instant laughs and giggles
right.
and just tomfoolery. Like there's
Right.
I can't
Right.
explain it, but if if you know and you have a core group of people that you hang with that you're close to like that, you can understand that. Like it's
There's an
just
energy, a
instant.
greeting, a moment of all converging on the same place. There's this
Yep.
thing, man. It's like instant. Oh my God, I can't even explain it, but it's instant. Like I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we
Yep.
here. It's
Yep.
hugs, it's
Yep.
handshakes, it's embracing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's funny because the things that we do, I will tell you on all the guys' trip, and I know we'll talk more about other guys' trips, but I eat more with y'all as a group, as a family, than I did growing up with my own family at a table, like sitting at a table, all eating together, all
Yep.
doing that. And, you know, there's a whole culture that we've created to where, getting out, walking on the beach, as just as a group, just being stupid, or, going to a
Yeah.
place and just, and I'll even go to Colombia, and even looking at pictures recently, we all just went to like 4 different malls and just walking through the mall as a group,
As a group,
just
yeah,
whatever, buying nothing, talking,
almost
scoping,
dying.
whatever. Yeah, almost done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
those things, having those moments, man. So, and ever since then, I promise you, it's been a goal of mine, and it's been intentional to never miss. You know what I mean? To never miss, those things. And I know it's not, that's just been a goal of mine. And I can't say it's not anybody else's, but it saves my life every year.
100%.
Every year. It's not, and not to say this lightly, but again, it resets my spirit. It resets my energy for, getting back home and completing out the year.
Yeah,
The third week of October, always the week before Halloween,
Halloween.
man.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing you guys, seeing your faces, the energy, the brotherhood, the fellowship, the participation, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
to
even though we,
breathe.
even though we always say you can do whatever you want, you're not going to be forced to do nothing. If you don't want to go get
Nope.
food, if you don't want to go to the
Yep.
store,
Yep.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still fully present. We don't have egos because we still talk our ish. You know what I mean? There
Right.
was that one time
Right.
at Villa 1227 where we were going back and forth between West Coast and the South music, right?
Oh, the music.
The
Yeah.
music
We
part, you
play.
know what I mean? That
Yo,
was a
the
good
playing
that,
spades.
playing spades,
Yo.
talking smack across the board. Like, dude, it's
Yeah.
just a good
Yeah.
it's a good space. It's a good like 4 or 5 days where we can breathe,
Yeah.
we can reflect,
Yeah.
we can be fully vulnerable. And we talked about that last episode about being it's okay to be vulnerable. And
Yeah.
we take those times when we're on the guys trip, so where we are able to be vulnerable, and we don't have to
Yeah.
worry about the judgment. I mean, we'll talk smack, you know what I mean, and
Right.
we'll joke around, but at the end of the trip, it 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 it's it's a lighter load off personally off my shoulders,
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah.
when I express XYZ or, you know, this or that, that the fellas on our trips
Yeah.
truly listen, genuinely give feedback if I'm either being a bia or if I'm overreacting or
Yeah.
if it's valid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's that piece that, unfortunately it's hard to get like through the day to day. You know what I mean?
Right.
In the
Right.
day to day of
Right.
life, and it's just, you
Right.
know, I appreciate that time. Like and we talk about this on the phone all the time about just, we reminisce about, you know, stuff that happens on the trips, like mentioning not almost dying, like in Colombia, like
Right.
we're sitting there, we're sitting there, and I don't want to keep speaking on it, but we were sitting there having dinner, early dinner, and we're all ha ha and hee hee and
Hmm.
having drinks, whatever, whatever. And all of a sudden, I choke on a piece of bread mid laugh,
Yeah.
and while everyone's still laughing, I'm over here like choking, like ah, 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 ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the whole
Yo,
staff.
we stopped. The whole restaurant stopped. The staff rushed over. We're all like, because the way we're sitting, couldn't. right, man. Oh
We
my
were right
gosh.
smack dead in
Yeah.
the middle of the restaurant.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
remember the live chick that was playing music stopped.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
dude,
it's funny, man. You just talking about it, the ability to be vulnerable with homies,
that's
to
it.
talk about the rough patches that go on in our lives, whether it's, the responsibilities, and having to be a male, you know, to be a male in this country, and to have to be responsible and to do all those things, and the weight that comes with it, and and being able to, when we're together, to be able to breathe, reflect, to be able to dump and not
Yeah,
feel judged, to have
yep,
homies listen, you know what I mean? Um, to really connect to who I am outside of being responsible in the day-to-day responsibilities, to be able to disconnect from that and connect to Jonesy, right?
yeah, yep,
It's not always about the profession and the responsibilities and all that stuff. That there is a me in there that I can appreciate and get back to, even if it is for about 4 days. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? To
It,
laugh, to really laugh, to
to
really
really laugh,
laugh.
like gut
Yo,
cramping, face crying. Like it just goes back
right.
to like when I see little kids running around like carefree and
Yeah.
not a care in the world. Like, and I hear people say it all the time. Man, I wish I was that carefree back, like like that little kid right there. And
Right. Yeah.
it's kind of like that on the trips where I can be carefree. I can I can have careless wonder and thought and just be silly. Like you know, um, it's
Yeah.
just that that piece that we could do in normal life, right? But
Right.
it could be frowned upon. You could piss somebody off or whatever. But it goes back to being able to look within and share that piece because
Yeah.
I mean the conversations we have on the phone, like with Big T, with G, with Mike, like that's all good, right? It's all constructive, it's all good, but the sentiment and the feeling and the emotion and the connection is deeper and different. Pause. When we're together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
And it's funny because our conversations are, man, I don't want to say it replaces therapy, but it's truly therapeutic, man. It's
yeah,
truly like, you know, and it's cool to have it through having this conversation through friendship. Not everybody can have that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But it is truly that trip and the conversations and the vulnerability is truly therapeutic. I can't
yeah.
stress it enough. Like,
It's
having those true friendships,
yeah.
really does a lot. Yeah.
It's definitely what every man needs. I mean, I know it's the other side of men, but it's what just being a person needs, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
t- you got to take that time out. You got to take time for yourself. You got to take that time to be around like-minded people who care about you, that support whatever your endeavor is, right? I mean, we
Right.
supported like going back to Big T. I mean, we knew he had health issues, and
Right.
you and I, for sure. I can speak for the other homies, but you and I personally had conversations where we struggled to find a way to support him in a way
Yeah.
to where it he would turn that page, right? Whether it was, and we talked
Right.
about this in the last pod too, where it all, we started doing the 22 push-ups. We started,
Right,
posting our
right,
workouts, our step counts, and all that stuff.
right,
And, it, I want to say it helped. I want to say it pushed him a little bit because there was a stint where he was actually, you know, consistently working out and trying to get better. But
right,
I think there was other
right,
factors that pushed him, and we could only do so much being, away from where he was. But we tried to keep him
right,
honest. We tried to hold his feet to the fire. Like, yo, did you take 10,000 steps today? Yo, did you go to the gym? What'd you eat? You know what I mean?
right, right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude,
But
I
even then,
remember,
at sometimes,
I
go
remember.
ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I remember
Are you good?
that uh, I was at work. I think it was after Puerto Rico, and he went back into the hospital, and we were like, "Who knows you're in the hospital?" He was like, "My sister." We were like, "Don't be bullshitting. What's her phone number? What's her phone number? Let me talk to your sister."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was so incognito about that kind of stuff,
Yeah, man.
right? And so, he would be, and again, I mean, he always gave us one third of the information. He never gave us the full details. We only got one third.
One
Um,
third.
you know, it's, it's so crazy, processing even that, and his secretive ways and things like that. The world demands so much of us. I know it's he was a supporter of his mom and his sister. They
Grandma.
relied a lot on him. You know what I mean? But so much of us, being to be a husband, to be a father, to be a provider, a protector. Um, man, just being a man, these trips allow you to not have to perform, to not have to fix, the ability to just exist for a few days, without having to problem solve and things like that. Life. Life is hard. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's not rewards and there's not fruit, but
Right.
life is hard and the pressure is real. You know what I mean? And so to be able to even look at him and him dealing with his health issues, there's pressure there to, find a way to get healthy. And it's not easy when, you're not the healthiest, right? And finding that way, or, trying to make sure that, you're solid for, who you're providing for, who you're protecting. You know what I mean? He took that seriously, no matter how hard it was, for his health issues. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah. And and he always said it, like, either during the trip or when we were saying our goodbyes, that he appreciated it. That even though he would always say no in the beginning, or I'm not going this time, whatever, whatever. At
right.
the end of the trip or sometime during the trip where we're all chilling, he would say, either to the group or to each of us individually, that he appreciated it. Like,
Yeah. Or he
you
would
know what I mean?
thank
And
you. He would
yeah,
literally thank,
yeah,
man, thank you for pushing me. Thank you for this.
yeah, yeah,
He would even use I love you. You know what I'm saying? He would,
yeah.
so that was for somebody who was something like a ninja. Um, he would still, he, he would still, you know what I
he was
mean?
he,
He would
he still
still be
had a soft
vulnerable.
side. Yeah, he was still
Yeah.
had a soft side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like we always, like, for us, our core group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We embrace the love that we get from each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
100%.
and those times where, like I said, where he says, "I appreciate y'all. I needed this." You know, it lets us unfold, right? Like,
Right.
shed some of that armor that we have, that we built the last 365 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
that and that's where the healing starts. That's where we can say, I can take a step back. I'm reset, and I can go move forward. Um, with the everyday. Like
Yeah.
that's the hardest part is finding that balance and finding that outlet to where we can get to that next October.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's, and it's crazy because ultimately, although you and I were going through some things, Big T's thing was bigger, right? And
Yep,
it just it served us, but Big T was the reason why we started this. You know what I mean? Like, 2015 was the reason why. And even though he's no longer with us, I will tell you, in my opinion, his spirit still showed up last year's trip. You know what I mean? Like,
bruh.
his presence was felt.
It was, man. So the rain that automatically stopped,
Yep. Yep.
uh, the 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 wind that started blowing when we were gonna do the freaking lanterns, that was all him. That was all him. He was like, man,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. Yeah.
what y'all doing out there?
Yeah,
I don't want that.
yeah. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
want
want that.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I don't want that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We
You know what I
couldn't get
mean?
we
Like,
couldn't get the light or the light, you know what I
we
mean?
couldn't
Because
get
the
the light of the
wind.
light. The wind was
Yeah.
blowing. Two of them
Yeah.
ripped while we were walking out to the beach. Like, it was
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah,
Yo,
dude.
even the response to the gummy. Yo,
Bruh,
the response put me out of commission.
bruh, bruh. That part.
It was a classic Big T moment on a
Like,
gummy, bro.
I'm going to get you right now. For the Skittles, I'm going to get
Yo,
you
yo,
right now.
yo.
No, yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah,
we said this like it's like Jonesy said, like, he's no longer with us. We'll get into more of that like as we do more episodes. But um, when we were there at his funeral, it made sense that he was the anchor being
yeah,
of
yeah,
of 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 our group. Like he was always the first one to be like, what time you guys fly in? I'm gonna take the
yep,
day off, or I'm gonna take a half
yep,
a day.
yep,
Even the last time before he went to the hospital, when we went out there for, it was his birthday, his 50th.
yeah. It was
It
his
was for his
50th.
fit,
Yeah.
and he met us, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, all right, what y'all about to do? I gotta go to the crib real quick." We're like, "All right, cool, bruh." In the car, playing the Night Rider music.
Was just us doing a car chase with him
It was,
and then creeping up
dude,
on him at the Quick Trip,
at the
playing roll
Quick
down
Trip.
all the windows, playing dun 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 dun
As he's pumping gas.
creeping on him, slow moving, 5 mi 5 miles an hour. Yo,
Yeah,
yo, that was a classic, man. That was a classic.
that was
You
classic.
know, I want to say this, man, because I just feel like it needs to say it, but you know, you know, we love you, Big T, man. This
100%.
you thank you for teaching us how to pause, man. You know what I mean? Thank you for, you really taught us how to chill, how to rest, to turn everything off. You know what I mean? And um, how to be brothers to each other, even though you didn't have any brothers. You only had a sister. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you knew how to be a brother. You accepted people for who they were, as they are. You accepted us as we are. Um, you know what I'm
Good,
saying?
bad, and
So
indifferent.
yeah, yeah. You'd still talk shit, but you accept everyone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. And that
so
showed. That showed with the outpour of people who showed up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yep,
And,
yeah,
you know, yeah, just, yeah, like, it's it's still hard, man. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
still hard. Like I shared the two videos we had when we walked up in there, walked up into the hotel. I mean, the hotel room, the his
Oh,
hospital room.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
just
And I go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, like, as much as people talk and people dwell, you gotta just remember, just take the trip.
Yeah, yeah.
It does
Look,
book a flight. It doesn't have to be anywhere extravagant. It just has to be a getaway. You can drive. Like, I would drive to freaking Canada or something.
yeah, 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 yeah. One of the one things that I learned is that, through all of this, man, is your life is worth protecting. Um, your peace is worth planning for. A lot of people think that, peace just comes. You have to design your peace. You have to plan for your peace. You know what I mean? And your homies are waiting for you to show up whole. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's just one of those things. And so, how do you do that? Right? Is planning for these things and taking the time out, even if it's just once a year. Even if we started out literally 3 days. We're up to, you know, 2 travel
5.
days on the beginning and the end, and 4
Yep.
days of vacation. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So the way
Yep.
it works out perfect. But we now have 4 whole days of travel, not counting the travel time. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yo, it's just one of those things that we don't necessarily, you don't know you need it until you've done it.
Yep.
And then once
Well,
you've done it once,
and don't let the stigma of a trip like stop you from resting and becoming whole, because it's not all about going to the clubs. It's not all about, you know what I mean, drinking and getting wasted. It's about taking that time for yourself
yep, yep,
to reflect and heal.
yeah, yeah. And look, it's not about not having a good time and not doing the club thing, but it's not about that. Those are
Yeah.
little perks that if you need those. But the number of times that I've stayed in while the other fellas have gone out, I'm just not, I'm not really interested. And so I'm not, and this is not to
Oh,
judge the fellas that do go, but I'm cool. I'm cool. Let me,
yeah.
order some room service.
I'm
Let me
cool.
relax. You know what I'm saying? I'll catch y'all on the flip. You know what I mean? I'll see y'all in the AM, but I'm
Oh,
good.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go zero dark 30 for a good 24, 48 hours.
And that's acceptable. And that's the beautiful thing about, our trips, our understandings. Our goal is to have dinner
Yep.
every night, but we make sure that we have one main dinner out. We do one excursion, maybe out on the boat, out on the beach, but everything else is free play. You know what I mean? Y'all want to go have a good time. I'll see y'all when y'all get back. I'm just gonna chill. I remember Big T would not go, but he would
Yep.
get a massage. You know what I mean? Things like that. So look, man, I hope that everybody,
Hey,
what
it's
they
been
get out
good.
of this. Yeah. Yeah. I hope what they get out of this is to take care of yourself, to build friendships that you can rely on, that will help heal. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for you and the rest of the fellas, because without, you and the rest of the fellas, I don't have this same experience, the same growth, healing, friendship, brotherhood. You know what I mean? And so, I thank you for participating. I thank you for being a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, 100%, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
you. I appreciate all the homies. We'll try to get them um, on here
Yeah.
as
We'll
guests.
figure it out.
But I'm Stan,
Hey, and this is Jonesy.
and this is the
This is
two
two
thirds
thirds.
other side of men.
Other side of men. Yo,